forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, guess you forgot your phone or something. So, I really need to talk to you. The lights in my apartment won't turn off, and they've stayed on constantly for the last 2 weeks. Sorry, let me start from the beginning. I live in this single studio apartment. It's just me. It's really small, but I'm living in downtown San Francisco, even though you doubted me, you know. It's not too bad, though. It's the perfect size for me, and I make it work. There's this little kitchenette when you first walk in. It's just a stove, a small sink, and a fridge, but it's got a smooth surface countertop between them. There's a computer desk to the right for my laptop for when I have to work from home, and a single twin bed to the far left, because our queen wouldn't fit here. So, it's cozy, and the light pastel yellow that they painted the walls really help with my moods, especially when the world went to shit. That's why I'm calling you, but besides that, getting back to my apartment, there's the door to the bathroom and a door to the small closet, and that's pretty much it. I still like to keep things clean and orderly, you know, being raised by my grandmother, who worked for local hotels as a maid for years after her mother passed. I knew how to treat stains with baking soda by the time I was 4, so to say my apartment isn't immaculate would be an insult. And just... Why did it cut me off? I know you check your messages every day, incessantly, unless something's changed. Doubt it. But anyway, it's dark here, and that's the way I want to keep it. I'm not a fan of the daytime. The sunlight always seems to flare up my migraines, so I always keep the dark, thick curtains drawn. Besides, the bright, soft pastel yellow walls do enough for me. Well, you know I like to run a tight ship. It used to drive you up a wall when I set that chores chart when we lived together in the dorms, but we both knew how much we needed it. There's a certain sense of order that needs to be maintained, you know? I deal with the blinding lights during the day, but in the comfort of this tidy, tiny apartment, it's just me and the faint luminescence of the screens around me at night. Which was as God intended. This apartment was supposed to be... Sorry. Let me get back on track. As I was saying, there are certain expectations that are, well, expected. When I flip off the goddamn light switch, the light better turn off. But no, that hasn't been the case for the last 2 fucking weeks. I leave to go for a walk sometimes when it's allowed, of course, and come back hoping maybe something is different, but those lights are still on. It doesn't matter if I mess with the circuit breaker, they just stay on. Like they're being powered by a completely different circuit breaker entirely, or at least that's what I think happened. It's a newer building, so maybe some wires got crossed. It's just frustrating because I can't seem to get any answers about it when I ask the people in the leasing office. Just blank stares like I'm insane. Whatever. I wish I hadn't signed that new rental agreement. I can't really afford to move right now.
I get it.
I know all of this probably just sound like incessant. Maybe that's why you haven't answered my calls. I know how uptight I can be sometimes, but I'm starting to get scared. Like, have you ever just kept the lights on in your house for several days at a time? I'm not talking night lights or shit like that, because everyone can deal with those. It's fine. It's whatever. No, I'm talking about the overhead ones on the ceiling. But it's those LED pure white lights that burn your fucking corneas. I swear some of the lights feel too hot. Like they could just melt the dome covers for the bulb. Maintenance recently changed all the light bulbs in the building to those ones, and God, have I hated every second of it. I don't understand why it was necessary. Hell, I begged them not to replace any and just leave the empty sockets, but they gave me some canned bullshit line about how we need to maintain living conditions. I tried to complain about it to my neighbor, Miss Gladys. She's the older woman that kind of reminds me of, well, my mom. and she's nice to talk to from the allowed distance. But we got onto the topic about Mr. Gladys and his new sores that keep appearing on his body. She said they're only appearing on one side, which is weird, and she doesn't seem to have any, or so she says. God, I really hope there aren't any bed bugs in this building. I don't even want to think about how much of a headache it would be if this whole building was Okay, so I started going down a YouTube rabbit hole about electrical wiring and tried to ask maintenance to come in and try to see what the fuck was going on in the walls, but they said they won't touch shit until restrictions are lifted. I'm so frustrated and pissed off. I told them to do whatever they needed to make sure those damn lights could finally turn off, but of course, nothing fucking changed and the lights are still on. Sorry, the situation is just starting to get to me. The state of the world right now, not seeing you, and now this, I think it's starting to fuck me up. I can't sleep anymore. I've done everything. ASMR, Spotify's bullshit sleep playlist, those really expensive earbuds that are specifically designed for sleeping, even a bullshit cooling eye cover that wraps around your head. But, well, this is why I'm trying to reach out. Recently, even with an eye cover, the light keeps seeping in. Like, it's not like I'm putting it on wrong, I'm not stupid. And I even checked if there were holes for leaks. It works outside, but when I'm inside my apartment, well, it doesn't matter if I put on the eye mask or anything. I just can't seem to close my eyes tight enough. I know this sounds crazy, but when I try to bury my head under the pillows to try and shield myself, it just gets brighter. Sometimes it feels like my eyes are gonna burst from how glaring and intense the light is. I swear to God, one night it felt like the light in my bedroom was just going to bake my eyes within my own skull. Or maybe that was a dream? I don't know. I just remember that things are kind of blurring together. Maybe it's just the smells of the takeout I got that day. I don't know how that's even possible, but it's the only way I can really describe this mess. Frankly, I'm beginning to wonder why I'm even still bothering to call you. You would think by now you wouldn't want this whole thing to permanently fuck me up. You know, like you care. If I am sleeping, it's broken and not a full rest. I mean, I even try to sleep sometimes while I'm working because I'm that desperate. But those fucking Zoom calls, can't really sleep if your boss is watching you. I find that creepy as hell. It doesn't help too that now I'm starting to hear weird shit in the bathroom. It's this dull scratching that I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I can fucking hear it right now as I'm leaving you yet another fucking voicemail, and it's getting on my last nerve. Once my fucking lease is up, I'm getting you out of here. This is unfucking acceptable. I hope you're happy. Hey, yeah, so... Sorry for that last message. I keep hoping that maybe you'll call me back or message me. Miss you. It's been too long since I've heard from you, and far too fucking long since I've seen you. Or anyone really back home. Maybe things will get better soon and I can come visit you and finally get some real sleep. You were always so good about making sure I was rested with those stupid little chamomile teas you made all the time. Sorry, I know I shouldn't, but, well, you're the only one I trust with something like this. Maybe you can give me some insight. You were always smarter than me. That's why I copied off of you in college, you know? But yeah, please call me back. I really need you right now. You're as dead as the bulb. Don't turn.